stressed and unstressed syllables, and then we're going to try and label each of these. And the hint I gave you for the first one was that sometimes if you don't have a word that's more than one syllable, you mark the small words as unstressed and the more important words as stressed. Now, glowed might throw us off here, but the end of this, at break of day, I think throws us into I am. So I just work backwards from that. The sun glowed red at break of day. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 feet of I am. And if you look on your sheet then, I am, and then 4 feet tetrameter, so iambic tetrameter. All right. This one we do have some words that are more than one syllable. Croaking. Which syllable is stressed in croaking?
The last one.
The first one. We don't say croaking, we say croaking. So stressed, unstressed. And then nevermore is 3 syllables. Nevermore. Nevermore. Meant and croaking, nevermore. So we have 3.5 feet of trochee, and I would say call that trochaic trimeter. Trochaic because it's trochee, and then 3.5, I'd just say 3, so trimeter, 3 feet. Again, we have another word that's more than one syllable. Scornfully. Which syllable is stressed in scornfully?
The last one.
Scornfully. Okay, listen to the different ways we stress. Scornfully, scornfully, scornfully. It's the first one is how we say it, isn't it? So, scornfully. Touch her not scornfully. That's 2 feet of dactyl. Dactylic diameter. This one's tough. And the sound of a voice that is still. Maybe just in reading it you can feel some of that rhythm. Maybe you can look and see we've got little, little, big, little, little, big, little, little, big. And then kind of iffy here, but these are more important. So I would do and the sound of a voice that is still. Anapest, unstressed, unstressed, stressed. 3, so anapestic trimeter. Gossiping, gossiping, gossiping. Which one is it? The first one. Gossiping, gossiping. Grasshoppers, grasshoppers, grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. Gossiping, grasshoppers. Dactyl, diameter. Right, dactylic diameter. Hopefully you saw that I gave you another sheet on the back of yours, so you can cross out the front and you can flip it over, and some of them have the same thing right on the back. If you want to write this, if it's wasn't going well for you the first time. This is the start of a limerick. What did I say limericks were written in? Not what language. You know what? That same thing happened last period too. Anapest. Okay, so anapest is unstressed, unstressed, stressed. There was once a young man from Madrid. And in Spain you'd say Madrid. Madrid, Iowa, pronounces it differently, but we're talking about Spain. There was once a young man from Madrid. pested, try neither. Okay? We have two words that have more than one syllable. Narrow. 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 Which one is it? Narrow. 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 Stressed, unstressed. Fellow. 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 First one. Fellow. A narrow fellow in the grass. 4 feet of iambic. What? Parameter. How many of you got half of these right so far? This is good. How many of you got all of them right so far? Impressive. This one I didn't give you that many feet and how to figure this out, but let's see if we can figure out the stressed and unstressed. Cushioned I know is stressed, unstressed. Cushioned. And then the end here in front of the bird and bus and door, that kind of gives itself away, doesn't it? We've got little, big, little, big, little, big. So I have no trouble doing that. Straight, I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bus and door. And so we have 7.5. So I would call that trochaic septameter. No, you don't have to know any of them. I'm always going to have a list like that, and there won't be a lot of them like that. So, good question though. Emily Dickinson, my life closed twice before it's closed. I've heard that you can sing all of her poems to the Yellow Rose of Texas. Before. My life closed twice before it closed. 4 feet of I am.
For all her stuff, I am too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. It yet remains to see. Yet remains to see. 3 feet of I am is iambic trimeter. Okay, this one, Edgar Allan Poe. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered deep and weary. We've got 8 feet there. Upon. That's the second one. Upon. Midnight. So which one is stressed? First one. Midnight. Dreary. First. Dreary. Pondered. It sounds like a question when I do it at the end, doesn't it? Like pondered. Stressed, unstressed. Weary. Stressed, unstressed. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak of weary. And we've got trochaic octameter. Which you don't need to know because that's more than anything. And this one at the end was tricky. It doesn't really fit into anything that I've given you here. It's Dr. Seuss from the Circus McGurkus, and I just think it's fun because it has a really strong rhythm to it, but it's not one that you could easily fit into on our chart. And now comes an act of enormous. It's like it's unstressed, stressed, unstressed. And so we would say, okay, it starts with a foot of IM and then it goes into amethyst, or it starts with half a foot of IM and then it goes into dactyl. I'm not sure how you would describe this, but it's unusual, but it does fit into a pattern, and we're just doing this for fun, okay? No former, performers, performed. This performance. Okay, so we're not going to label that one. And, do you have any questions?